Hi everybody, my name is Kate. Welcome to my channel, Trenergy Awakens Naturally. Thought I would just hop in with a little tidbit of a thought to get your day started, your night started, your moment started, your life started, whatever. If you're able to receive the information, then you're started in a new direction, possibly rethinking, reschooling, retooling, rejiggering, and refiguring, which I found is the best way to cope with all of the ongoing stressors in life is to learn how to be flexible, learn how to change my perspective, learn how to have a different vantage point and think way outside the box, way outside the box. And I'm going to encourage you today to really think about what are your priorities and why. Are you headed towards your destination or are you headed away from it? If you're not clear on your destination, that might be a good place to stop and say, what do I really want from my life? What kind of goal do I have? A major goal. I want to be happy. I want to be rich. I want to be healthy. It's all pretty much the same thing. We want to reach a state of stability, safety, and the way that we get that is through good health, good relationships, financial abundance, resources. It all kind of narrows down to the same thing. It's just a matter of how many different ways are there to attain that state of equilibrium. And for most of us, we spend some time, maybe, our whole lifetime, working on what is that end goal that I'm after, specifically how it's expressing out in my life with me, to me, and as me. And am I happy with the results so far? Now, I wouldn't spend a lot of time in the back action stuff or looking at past behavior unless you're going to be able to really look at that and then reframe that, look at it from a different perspective and learn. Earning your learn, if you earn your learn through burn, that's a harsh way to go. And most of us, when we Phoenix rise that, it takes a few minutes or a few years or a few decades or however long to figure it out. And we're really hurt. We're really, troubled by past occasions with bad interaction with somebody or bad decisions on our part. And if you're able to kind of separate that out right now and just detach from that, see if you can hold on for 2 or 3 minutes in your own mind of, I think I'm going to suspend all disbelief, all chatter, all influence, including my own, because divinity in you is pure. It's absolutely a pure frequency that's unobstructed and absolutely 100% unconditionally free, loving, kind, all of those warm, juicy feel-goods. Now, human beings wrap their bodies. We are human beings wrapped around our divinity. And I don't care what you call your divinity. If you call it God, great. If you call it the angelic realm, great. If you call it past ancestors, souls having already gone on, alien races, whichever way you look at it, all of them, because we're multidimensional creatures, we can answer to a lot of different expressions of ourselves. And me personally, I like to drop in and dot collect from a bunch of different sources. So I don't like to hop in and stand still too long in one place trying to identify exclusively as that, because that doesn't work for me. However, if you are Jewish or you practice yoga and you live in an ashram, if you work a blue collar job and you're bumbling along and you are just a happy, and not, wrong, then I don't care how you arrive at your destination vacation, as long as you're arriving. And there's never an end goal of that's the goal and then I stop. There's no such thing as a stationary moment in life. It's ever changing. There is no equilibrium. It's what we are seeking. However, very few people can stop and rest and stay right there in that homeostatic point of everything is absolutely balanced. We usually have variations on the theme. And right now, we're in a time when there's a lot of swinging, a lot of bipolar, a lot of very up and down extremes, because we're being called with the transition of new way of communicating, etc., to really find the deepest part of our divinity and bring that forth instead of, snatching and grabbing stuff out here that feels comforting in that moment. What's the end goal? Is what you're doing helping you get to your destination vacation, lifestyle, job, relationship, whatever it is, goal. If it's not helping you get there, it's hindering you. And if you ain't for me, you're against me, okay? If you're not for me, you're against me. And we can look at that like, combat, and I'd really rather not, because that's a painful way to live, to constantly be bracing against somebody who's trying to keep me from my stuff. However, that is kind of the loose framework of how I look at things like that. Is this serving me and my divinity? Because if it's not, it's not, and it's against me, it's again me, and not in a combat mode necessarily, because I don't want to go to war over, no thank you. I would just rather decline that invitation and go here. So is an invitation part of your destination? Are you being invited into a brawl at the mall? Or are you being invited to do something that really supports the best parts of you? And without looking for perfection, without looking to land in any one spot for very long, because once you win the World Series, what's your next goal? What's your next goal? And some of us, we have these lofty goals, we're told, that you'll never make that. Well, that's totally believable if we're not able to get out of bed and function most of the day or even part of the day, or if we can't handle our finances, or we can't, wrangle in the kids, or we have a kooky ferret that's just on the loose and running the whole house. It can be really hard to look beyond the day-to-day grind to see if you can find the Super Bowl win. I'm not going to be a Heisman Trophy winner if the rest of my life is back here and I'm stopped because I don't even believe I have the capability to be an athlete because of bad input that's not serving my destination vacation. Now, I'm not suggesting that every single person achieve Super Bowl Heisman Trophy status, because not everybody wants that. And I'm also not suggesting that you make your goals so tiny that they're not really stretching you. And the only one that will know, friend, whether that's a goal that's stretching you reasonably or not is you. And as long as there's anybody parked inside mission control in your head, if you have somebody in there that's playing role of mission control, they're very likely able to kind of motor you and mold you, shape you, and set you up to do things a certain way. It's called parenting. It's what was done to us. It's what we do to our children. And it's how we interact. We learn how to communicate from the people who taught us how to communicate. And if that wasn't the most effective, if it wasn't the most loving, if it wasn't the most supportive, okay, welcome to the world. Because we're coming out of that age of Pisces where things are very restrictive. They're bound. They're rigid. They're not very flexible. We've transitioned on into the age of Aquarius now, where it's a lot more community driven and collaboration driven, and being called to access those more beautiful divine places in us, not to shut out and shame or blame or play a game with what we've done ever in the past that was so horrible I couldn't possibly admit it to anybody, much less, I can't admit it to myself. I'm not going to be able to admit it to anybody else. That's fine. You do not need to pop open, a confessional moment in order for you to claim your spot right here on planet Earth. It's already declared. You're already allowed to be here. There are no reasons, absolutely none, why every single person does not deserve to be at their greatest potential and their greatest divinity, because that's what we're born with. If you are breathing, exchanging air, you have a right to be a right there. And there's not one other person, not one circumstance, situation, or anything that allows for determining that you no longer deserve that, because there's not one human being on this planet that knows how to do it any better than you do for you. Now, I can make suggestions based on my intuition and my channeling and, my guidance that says, hey, that may be helpful for that person. However, if that doesn't sing true and ring true for you, it's not going to work. Especially if you go into it with, okay, I guess I'll do it your way. We are sovereign nations. Each individual person, we have our own ability to be sovereign nations, and that's what we want. We want our personal freedom. We want our emotional freedom. We want our divinity to express itself through us, through me, through thee. And when we put it out there with the expectation that somebody else's divinity definition of us is going to get us there, they may be quite supportive of us and they may be really telling us great stuff. However, if they're telling us to be an engineer and we'd really rather be in marketing, like on Last Man Standing, then we're really not reaching our fullest potential. We're not really doing that with the destination vacation. It's going to be a vacation. However, me personally, I don't see going to the North Pole as, a destination vacation that I'd actually like to go to if it involves, camping out and living there for 6 months. I might be interested in going on a cruise to, Alaska or something. You get it? So it's a matter of change the perspective, change the vantage point. Take maybe a hawk's eye view of that and see, how do I really feel about that? Not what I think, because thinking is part of the paradigm of parenting, and input from society, parents, grandparents, whoever your family of origin was and still is, if it's motoring you around in mission control, all of it. And until we can really let go of that, release it and let it go, we're not going to know, how do I feel about this? And getting in touch with the feelings of things can be quite a disparaging moment to try to reconcile the books on how I think about that versus how I feel about that. And we use a lot of words that suggest we feel a certain way. And what we really mean to say is, I think something. That's fine. Think the thoughts and give yourself permission, if you can, at some point today, many points in the day, if you're able. However, right now, are you able to just let everything go and think, okay, what's the most nurturing, divine space that I can be in to reach for in me, that space of divinity, whatever you call that. And if it's got a fixed operation already on it, that it's got to look this way because that's what catechisms say, or that's what doctrines say, or theology say, or daddy say, or, political figure, or whomever. If they're influential to you and they are really helping you to reach your greatest spot of you, in your own humble opinion, then great, move out. That's great. That's awesome. However, most of us, if we were going to be honest, we'd have to admit that that's not really, if I was going to admit in the darkest recesses of my heart or the brightest ones, I would say that's not really the way that I would go with that. I'd really rather do that. And it can be a little bit problematic to break free from those old paradigms. However, Pisces out, man, and bring Aquarius in. Whether you believe in astrology or not, whether you believe in the cosmology or not, hard science is telling us many, many, many things that if you're really dedicated to flat earth understanding, you're probably not going to want to listen to me, maybe. And if you are, fantastic, because it means that you probably open your mind a little bit, because it's really the mind that is getting in the way. It's your operating system. Update that bugger, because divinity, the internet, high-speed internet within thee, isn't polluted. It's absolutely crystal clear. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a rainbow child, an indigo, a crystal, a hippie, a Catholic, a extremist. It doesn't mean you have to be anything in particular, especially not for me. You have to be if you really want to show up in your own life feeling fulfilled, feeling safe, feeling like you're not going to need that person, that situation to validate me, validate my spot, validate who I am, and give me the grace and the, leniency to take a breath. You already deserve it. You're here. Mother Nature alone, whether you believe in a deity or gods or whatever, you don't have to. Agnostic, atheist, it doesn't matter. Mother Nature already told you, divinity already told you, you are breathing in, then you have a right to belong in your skin. You already are breathing in, then you have a right to be here. So there you go. There's 1446, and I'm going to shut it down and just leave that little kernel of information, drop that little seed perhaps, and you don't have to foster that, grow it, and take that on as your own. You don't have to. That's your own sovereignty to say, yeah, I don't really care to do that. However, an even more powerful position that I see and that I like to take is I'm strong enough and sound enough and solid enough that I can possibly take in if it's a, toxic right off the top and I just know, no thanks. However, if someone's dropping a seed, it's why don't I give that some consideration? Where would I find my greatest empowering position on that? And if I don't find one, thank you. That's, just let it go. And if I embrace that and say, oh, that's really cool. I like that. I think I'll go to school, and then I'll take it from there on where I can head with that information. So good luck to you. I hope you have a great part of your day, whatever part of the day you're in. And please, if you have not already, feel free to like, share, etc., subscribe. And no matter what, I don't need you to do something for me. That's the beauty of it, is you need you to do something for you. And I'm going to encourage you to please go do that. Please meet the call of the wild of your inner child. Your inner divinity is calling to thee. So have fun finding him, her, or however else you just don't identify, because divinity doesn't have a gender. It's a frequency. So have fun raising your frequency in ways that are healthy, productive, and meeting your destination vacation. Is that invitation on your way to the destination, or is it distracting you? Have fun and take care, enjoy, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Mwah.